This is my list of 10 players who tried and failed to become the next Michael Jordan. Everybody knows Michael Jordan, widely regarded as the greatest player in NBA history. Michael Jordan left a lasting impression in the game of basketball, and since his final retirement in 2003, fans have been desperately hoping that a player will come along and surpass Jordan's throne atop the NBA world. While plenty of players have been touted as the next Michael Jordan, none have proved capable of earning consideration as the Jordan heritage. Well, let's take a look at 10 players who've come closest but ultimately fallen short. Alright, coming up, number 10 on this list is Harold Miner. Living up to the nickname after the greatest player of all time is certainly hard to overcome, and Harold Miner couldn't live up to the Baby Jordan nickname he received in high school due to his dunking ability. Heck, MJ owned kids couldn't even live up to the success at the college level. While at USC, Miner became the school all-time leading scorer, led the trophy to the number 2 seed in 1992 NCAA tournament, and won the Sports Illustrated College Basketball Player of the Award over players like Shaquille O'Neal and Christian Laettner from Duke. After being drafted by the Miami Heat 12th overall in the 1992 NBA Draft, Harold Baby Jordan Miner attempted to live up to the nickname by winning NBA Slam Dunk Contest in 1993, and he won it again in '95. Sadly, those are the highlights of his explosive dunk career. Miner head coach in college, George Ravlin, said he always felt the worst thing that happened to Harold Miner was being tagged with the Baby Jordan name, and he was right. In his short stint in the NBA, Miner played for the Heat for 3 seasons and 1 season with the Cleveland Cavaliers. His career average was 9 points and 2.3 rebounds for Baby Jordan. Alright, coming in number 9 on this list is Isaiah Ryder. His career started out phenomenal. That became worthy of a Hall of Fame career, some people even thought, if he played long enough. However, with assault charges, multiple marijuana possession charges, and once even spit on a heckler while he was playing for Portland, no team could afford to put much stock in Isaiah Ryder. He retired in 2001. Isaiah Ryder may have never struck out, but boy did he look good playing. He did some nice dunks and was very electronic while he played, but he didn't play very long, so that's the reason why he never reached his full potential. Alright, coming in number 8 is Jerry Stackhouse. The biggest thing that Jerry Stackhouse had in common with Michael Jordan was they both went to UNC and they were extremely hyped up coming out. His peak was short as his game came and went 4 years in Detroit, but it was something to see as he did average 29.8 a game in the season of 2000 and 2001 season. But after leaving the Pistons, Stackhouse got progressively worse and people so effectively start calling him Jerry Wackhouse. So Jerry Stackhouse is coming in number 8. He had a couple of good seasons, but again, he didn't reach his full potential. He even played with Michael Jordan and Washington, which he claimed stunted his growth. Alright, coming in number 7 on this list is Michael Finley. Michael Finley first met Michael Jordan in high school after he won a contest and played a one-on-one game with Michael Jordan, and after which Jordan was so impressed that he hinted that he wouldn't be surprised to see Finley at the professional level one day. Finley was a good player for a long time, but he never really hit a huge peak like a lot of other next Michaels have done. The one thing that did stick out to me, I watched him play, however, he was lackadaisical and he would become on defense at times, so he didn't really play much defense as far as what I've seen. Besides Harold Miner, he was probably the worst defenders of all the next Michaels. So number 7 on this list is Michael Finley. Coming number 6 on the list is Grant Hill, poor Grant Hill. His time as the next Jordan candidate ended too premature by a player as exciting and gifted as he was, and he was dedicated to the game as well too. Aside from other players on the list, and I don't want to give them away yet, Grant Hill was probably the closest to Jordan in terms of will to win, all-around skills. He could score, defend, and pass the ball. But unfortunately, he went down in 2000 with an ankle injury and was never the same after that. Although he was one of the league's better defenders and scorers, he could score right well, play defense, pass the ball. He was a good all-around player, but injuries slowed his career down to the point people thought it was over, but he ended up making his way back to the court. That's good for him. He played on some good teams. He's still a good defender after his injuries, but he never was the same scorer. He never was the go-to player that he once was before injuries. So if it wasn't for injuries, I think Grant Hill would have been right there in probably top 10 players of all time. But injuries slowed his career down. Coming in number 5 is Penny Hardaway. Well, Penny Hardaway was a great player for much of his career, but he just couldn't seem to break through to the next level. Penny just couldn't seem to get to the next level to become extraordinary. Hardaway averaged at least 15 points a game his first 6 seasons, but injuries no longer playing with one of the most dominant centers like Shaquille O'Neal in history took a toll, and Hardaway fell into being just a good player for the most of his career, which he was extraordinary. He played with Shaquille O'Neal and maybe a couple years after that, but after that he just fell into being in the middle of the pack, just being a good player for much of his career. So he did have a good career, but he's never reached that next Jordan potential. And congratulations to him. Now he's a coach at University of Memphis Tigers. Coming number 4 on his list is Tracy McGrady. Now, Tracy McGrady was a special, talented player. Everybody must admit, scoring champion, multiple All-Stars, great highlights, great all-around player. But the problem with McGrady was that he was a great regular season player, but he didn't have much playoff success. For much of his career, he didn't have any playoff series wins, and that was a struggle. That happened to him in Orlando, that happened to him in Houston, and some of the other teams that he played for. So Tracy McGrady was a very special talent, had a great career, he made the Hall of Fame, but due to him lack of playoff success was why he fell short of becoming the next Michael Jordan. But don't get me wrong, he was a great player, special talent, Hall of Fame talent, but he's on this list because he didn't reach the success that Jordan did, never reached the heights Jordan did, but he ended up having a great career anyway. Coming in number 3 is Vince Carter. Considered by many as being the best dunker of all time, Vince Air Canada Carter drew comparisons to Jordan because of his dunking ability at the shooting guard position. Oh, and he also happened to play for Tar Heels in college as well. After 6 seasons in Canada, the Toronto Raptors traded Carter to New Jersey Nets on December 17, 2004, and after failing to build a championship team around him, Carter had impressive displays in 4 seasons with the Nets, which earned him a few All-Star appearances, as he currently is played 20 seasons in NBA categories, where he led the Nets in points, defensive rebounds, assists, turnover ratio, 3-point field goals, offensive rating, players efficiency rating, and win share. That was well done for Vince Carter. Vince Carter had a long career, and he played long in the NBA, 20-some years, but he was a great player, great dunker, probably had a Hall of Fame career, but the thing is he never reached the playoff success on Michael Jordan, but he still had a great career, nothing to look down on. Coming number 2 on this list is LeBron. LeBron combination of size, speed, defense, athleticism, and power makes him the best small forward the league has ever seen. Since entering the league in 2003 as the chosen one, he has been compared to Michael Jordan in a lot of ways. He even wears the number 23 since he joined the Cavs. Though he hasn't surpassed MJ, LeBron has lived up to the lofty expectations in so many ways, with career average of 27.1, 7.2 rebounds, 6.9 assists, 1.7 steals per game. James' legacy continues to grow. He got 4 NBA championships, 4 final MVPs, multiple All-Star games, double digits, all first team defensive. There's been a couple of times we probably should have been defensive player of the league. He's a great player. He's going to be a Hall of Fame. When it's all said and done, he's going to be top 5 player of the league. Even though he hadn't surpassed Jordan, but every time Jordan names come up,
his names come up too. So that's good company. LeBron James is number 2.
All right, coming in number 1 on this list, you probably already know, is the late great Kobe Bryant. The NBA has been seeking for Jordan heir to his throne for quite some time, and many players have tried to be the next Michael Jordan and failed for multiple reasons, which have been already covered. According to many people who worked on books for his heirness, Michael Jordan thinks only Kobe Bryant deserves to be compared to him. Kobe's ultimate competition is MJ. That's why MJ watched him. MJ made people think that what he was doing wasn't human ditto to the Coke player. I never said Kobe was better than MJ. MJ told people Kobe is the only one that has done the work to be deserved to be compared to himself. Now Kobe didn't eclipse Jordan's legacy, but he has done a magnificent job being the second best shooting guard of all time. The Black Mamba installed fear with the opponent's nightly, just like Jordan did, and imitated every one of his moves from the post-up to the mid-range game. His airless punch teams with Bryant matched Jordan in every category and is the closest player to Jordan in terms of ability, making difficult shots, and of course that killer instinct needed to win games. But Bryant couldn't out MJ even though he played 6 more seasons and even finished higher on the all-time scoring list than his idol. So Kobe Bryant is number 1 on his list. He's the closest thing to Jordan. He had the Black Mamba attire. R.I.P. We miss him. He's done some great things. 5 championship rings. First team All-NBA. First team All-Defensive player. Guaranteed to be a Hall of Fame player. One of the best players I've ever seen. He's the closest thing to Jordan. So R.I.P. to Kobe. So number 1 on his list comes Kobe Bryant.